It has been lifted to a whole new level.
I remember the first foundations being laid and having this kind of realisation that what had been drawn, modelled, was going to be built. I suppose as an architect, so many projects drop away, so it's really nice to have just achieved one of the most complex buildings that I've worked on.
We've tried to create a building of simplicity and beauty and also of significance, one that allows a deep sense of meditation and connection, and I think it's successful in that.
So the original temple here was built in 1974, suffered a fair amount of water ingress and damage, and in 2015 we took the decision to actually rebuild.
It was difficult because we had the opportunity to restructure the old one, and it was a toss-up between the two. A lot of people absolutely loved the old temple, but in the end I think they could see from the plans that we received and all the input that they could put in, they could see that it could be something much better, and certainly something that didn't leak.
When we first started thinking about what we might want from the new temple, we consulted with our membership, and obviously there are a range of opinions. Some questioned, why do we need a new temple? Can we use the chapel in the house? A large proportion, actually, I think, were quite excited about the possibilities of rebuilding and building something for the future. Through that process, we came up with certain things that we wanted to get from the building, and these began to form part of the brief that we gave to the architects.
We were in a very different office at the time, and we were a smaller team. And the brief was presented to us. It called for a huge variety of different spaces for the building. Community space, public space, leading to meditation space and spaces of knowledge, libraries and study areas, and then into more sacred spaces such as healing chapels and then the temple itself.
From the new building, we wanted to achieve something that was beautiful and would serve the White Eagle work long into the future. We wanted a place where our community and the local community can come, can enjoy and be at peace here. One of the key phrases throughout the design process was simplicity combined with beauty, and I believe that that has been achieved.
I didn't think it would come out as good as it has today. It has actually exceeded all my expectations on many levels, not just the physical, but also on a spiritual level.
I love the arches within the temple and the way that when you're sitting within them, you feel enfolded and protected. And I particularly like where I'm sitting now, on this bench in the cloister overlooking the courtyard garden. To me, it's a contemporary take on sort of monasteries of old. I think it's just a wonderful, peaceful, calming place. And yeah, it's one of my favourite viewpoints, actually.
When I first went in there, because I take meditations here, the atmosphere was absolutely wonderful. It was almost like instantaneous. Made it very easy to get into that space. And people who've sat with me doing meditation have had the same feeling. So I would say that a place where people can make that contact very easily, but perhaps without realising they are. And that's what we want. What we want is people being able to come here and find what they need for themselves, not what we tell them. And so that's what I feel it gives.
So when designing the temple, a key factor was also thinking about the landscape that the temple sits within. We wanted to connect the temple to the wider landscape. We wanted to connect it to the retreat house on the estate, and we wanted it to sit well within its surroundings. So we employed a landscape architect to assist with that. And one of the key features that we had picked up on was the east-west orientation of the temple and the importance of that. And that's reflected in our chakra walk within the landscape, which runs from the east door of the temple across the Newlands grounds. And within the landscape, we believe there is a chakra points reflecting those within the human body. And at each of those, we've created little gardens, just giving visitors pause to thought and reflect each of those points.
I think what you can see expressed in the building is a really concise material palette that consists of timber, brickwork, glass and concrete. And I think the result of using such a concise material palette is that there's a certain harmony to the building that allows a self-reflection, moments to pause and contemplate and consider the landscape rather than the building dominating.
In all cases, we try and wrap natural materials into those buildings. We try to build using the local stone, the local timber, and trying to use local crafts wherever possible.
All of the brickwork and concrete that was taken from the demolition of the previous building was all sorted by ground workers on the site. It was processed on site and ground down to aggregate, and that aggregate was used as hardcore below all of the foundations in the new building, as well as site-wide beneath any of the new pathways.
So during the process, there were certain aspects of the old temple that we wanted to bring forward into the new. The dome over the temple, representations of 12 columns, the marking of the zodiac symbols around the temple, the central altar being placed exactly at the same point as the central altar in the old temple, and the Brotherhood table from the old temple taking pride of place in the Brotherhood library of the new temple. They have meaning to us as a community and a connection to specific parts of the White Eagle teachings, and we wanted to reflect them in the new building whilst not constraining the architects in their design.
My vision for the future is definitely that we will be more open to the general public, to the community, the local community, and to be more available. A place where they can come and join a healing service, a yoga group, arts and crafts, wandering around on the estate in our beautiful gardens, or just come to sit and have a serene, peaceful moment.
I'm proud of not only the building as it stands, but also of the way that it's been produced. That relationship that we've built over the course of 4 years has been a really spectacular experience. I mean, for me personally, my children have been born and are now 4 years old in the time frame of when this building has been constructed. So for me, it's a stage marker in my own life, really.
I'm hoping that more people will feel they can come and use the facilities. We've got a bigger meeting room than we had before. We've got the cafe area that we didn't have before. And I think that offers something that other groups can come and use.
Well, I do really hope that everyone gets the possibility to come here and to just for themselves see what it means to them.
It's a very special place for me. You know, every time we came here and every time we come here, we get very good weather. It tends to be a beautiful day. It's filled with joy. It's filled with possibility.
Above all, it is about receiving the light, sending out the light, the love into the world. And I think as much as the old building also did that, I think this brings it into the future in a different way.
I'm really excited about the next stage of actually people coming in, enjoying the temple and its surroundings. And I believe that this provides us with a wonderful foundation for the work of the White Eagle Lodge to move forward and for people to enjoy all it has to offer.